So here we are. Stephanie and I are at Azalea Antiques and Art. We put the art in the antiques because today is a great day to make some art. And we are going to take this piece that we did our initial base painting and turn it into its final evolution, its final gorgeousness. This is a rolling cart with tons of storage. This top opens up. Sorry, trying to do this while I'm talking. So we get a really big, very protective surface. And this is great if your kitchen doesn't have the space for an island, or you even need a second island. This can roll in from another room that you had it tucked away and give you the extra storage, the extra workspace. And it is finished on all four sides. So this can be anywhere out on a lanai. It is such a useful piece. And we are going to make it a piece of art today. So keep watching. I am just about to start my overglazing, and we'd like to go into a beautiful kind of a coastal blue that's going to be over the sand. So we've got the sand and the sky. Yes, we've got a coastal theme going because we're in Wilmington and we are by the water. Coastal, not beachy. And this special brush has been with me, I want to say almost 30 years. This is, it is a badger hair brush, and it has the most amazing texture to it. So what I'm going to do is wash this blue over the previously glazed piece, and I'm basically adding just a film of blue. I just want to add some drama because life is too short to not have drama.
Sure. Good drama.
Good drama. All right, keep watching. All right, so you can see how this is coming along, and it does go very quickly. You know, we're just doing basically a stipple wash over this entire piece. The base color is just giving it a nice depth. And thank goodness for our roller to get it all in. I don't want to put too much glaze on because it's just more to take off. And the air conditioning, although it's blasting here, it's still kind of warm. So that is just going to shorten the time that I have to work this. Even though I do have my scumble base in here, it's evaporating. So what's keeping me cool is drying my paint. So you have to pick your poison. Do you want your glaze to dry slowly, or do you want to be dying of the heat? So again, this fabulous stipple brush. So you see where I've got a little holiday where I missed the glaze? It doesn't matter. Isn't that fabulous? So now it's all about tippy tapping. And this is just going to end up giving us a nice even, and you see how that totally disappeared? Just a nice even coating. So it looks basically like it was sprayed, only without the mess of the spray. You know, when you have to start taping off and working in a tent or a spray booth, that just gets a little crazy. Okay, DNA test. Whose hair is it? Mine or yours? And look, see how that just disappears? Okay, so what I'm going to do is strier the edges so I can close this door. And you see how I just tucked in my tail? Because otherwise that's going to smack right down on what I did. And now I can shut it, and now I can really fully stipple this. And always have the rag handy. Make sure that your stippling brush is not overly wet with paint, because then you're just not going to be taking off enough paint. And we're just going to keep working this until we find the depth of color that makes us happy. Sorry for the noise. Doors are always fun. How I'm working myself in circles. This keeps us from getting what I like to call the birdie footprints, so it looks like the bird walked across their piece. So this just gives us a nice even coating. All right, so now I'm going to take my towel and I'm going to strier in there, and look at that great definition just by changing up the technique. it just adds so much interest. Now I'm gonna go back in here. There we go. And just redo where I stippled over a little bit. And that's just kind of fun and cool. And just tidy up my corners. And remember, when you're working on a hand-painted piece, perfectly imperfect is what you're shooting for. Perfection doesn't exist anywhere in nature, nowhere. And making yourself crazy is going to take away the enjoyment. So just go for it and let it become what it wants to become. And this is Converted Navy by Farmhouse Paint, which is up there on my list of favorites. I know it's hard to choose between all your children, but this really is a beautiful color. It's got that tiny bit of teal undertone, which just makes it so coastal without being formal. I really love it. And they do make a beautiful navy as well, but this just that little teal underbase just makes me happy. Just make sure your stippler is as dry as you can get it. And let's go in and stipple. And as soon as you start to notice that it's not pulling off as much as it was, wipe your stipple brush dry and go in and do it again. All right, that looks pretty even. Whoops. Oh, and you see where I went over it? No biggie. No biggie at all.
Yeah, that looks nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's pretty sweet. And that kind of dried in there. So right now it's really starting to dry. So let it be. Don't fiddle with it. Once it's dry, we can come back and fine tune it. All right, stay tuned. So now we are turning the top into a slab of marble. And I always say, and you'll hear me say it time and time again, things happen as they need to. There's no such thing as a mistake when you're painting. So we packed up all of our goodies to come here today, and I forgot my main color, my white. I was going to do a white marble. And so, oh well, I could either beat myself up or go in another direction. So this is gonna take me in a direction I never would have gone. Again, this is the universe just sending me butterflies. So keep watching. Okay, so I'm starting to put in some of the detail, and this is just coming out of my head. This is my favorite brush in the whole world. It's at least 30 years old, if not more. Now, what we used to do is go into Manhattan and check out the brushes like this. And oh, look at that point. I wouldn't dream of doing that. But that's how you check to know if the brush was well made. If it came together in a point.
Oh, wow. Learn something new every day.
So now we're just going to put in a couple of details, and this is when we were just talking. This is when extra coffee comes in handy. No such thing as a straight line in Mother Nature world. How about in Steffi world?
No straight lines in Steffi world.
Oh. The other thing is what I've already laid down is also going to tell me where the twists and turns come from. Because if we talk about for a moment a little bit of earth science, what is granite or marble but chunks of earth that have come together and compressed? So each one of these inclusions was a piece of earth that came together and compressed. And if there was any moisture in between those inclusions, it got squeezed between those. And that is what a vein is. That was the liquid that got pressed between the inclusions. which is why there's no straight lines. So if we come through and we follow through with these inclusions, this is going to tell me where my liquid is going to go. And it could go off in, so many different directions. And again, I'm twisting and turning this because there's no straight lines. And I do teach these classes in detail, so we're just going over very lightly some of the high points. But if you really want to know how to do a truly realistic marble, reach out to me and I'll put the links below, and I'll let you know when we're going to do an in-person class, and then eventually we'll be doing an online class, which is great because you can do it from the privacy of your own home, which is great fun. And as I always start in my classes by saying, what is the absolute worst case scenario? You don't love it, you paint it over and do it again. Steph, what's our saying?
Don't faint, it's only paint.
And what that does, it takes the pressure off of you because it is only paint and you can do it again and again and again. And now I'm adding a little bit of green because if you start to look closely in nature, green is everywhere. You may not think of that, but there's always some sort of green undertone in nature. And it really just adds a nice little accent. And you can see that it's not screaming green. It's just that little bit of organic color that brings a reality to our piece. This is another one of my favorite brushes. Again, you can see it's lived a life. Because I can twist it on its side and get some real interesting patterns. Again, what I laid down before is telling me where these little runs or little rivers need to be set down. And like right here, it came out a little bit straight. So I'm just gonna add some more fun to it.